All right, Shalom. First, I'll give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bashem Yashai Bashem Makar the honors to the apostles and the elders of the GMS, salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are during the truth and sincerity, and the women and the children who follow. So, I just was doing some thinking and about the financial collapse, hyperinflation, and jobs. I was like, well, before I get into that, let's get into hyperinflation. What exactly is hyperinflation? It says 1925 in the economics says hyper, which means over or exceedingly to excess. Inflation. Let's go to inflation. It says swelling caused by gathering of wind in a body. It says flatulence, outbursts of pride. Uh, basically, to blow into, to puff up. So to over or exceedingly puff up. And that's what this economy has been doing. It's been over exceedingly puffing up this economy. That's why they call it a balloon or a bubble, should I say? They call it a bubble. And what happens when that bubble gets too big? It pops. So when you have a overinflated economy, we'll say like Venezuela. Venezuela, their dollar is in hyperinflation, which means in a very short period of time, it's going to be devalued. Literally, you could go to a store, say like you want to get a cup of coffee, and I'll use American prices, just so that you understand where I'm coming from. Say that cup of coffee is $2. Well, you come back on your lunch break, and that same cup of coffee, now a drop more, is now $5. You come back after work, and that same cup of coffee, not a drop more, is $10. That's what hyperinflation is. So it had me wondering. I'm like, well, in hyperinflation, how does it work with wages? Because if all the prices are going up, how does wages work? If you're making $15 an hour, and as you work your job, things that used to cost $5, $10 are now costing $10, $20. Your wage isn't going up. They're not going to all of a sudden pay you $20 and $25 just because the things that used to cost $5 and $10 now cost $10 and $20. You're still going to be making that same $15 an hour. And it's just going to get harder and harder on you. So I was trying to find like a video or something that would support that. All I could find was basically a video. I see if I don't want to get a strike, so I'm not going to show you the video. But it was basically saying that the majority of people in Venezuela right now are jobless because it's not worth the money. Why would I work for $10, $15 an hour when bread costs $20 an hour or costs $20? I couldn't even buy a loaf of bread for 1 hour of my labor. So why would I work 8 hours and can barely afford? I still can't afford to live, which is how E is planning on getting everybody. This is how they're planning on implementing that market of beast, because they're going to incentivize it that it will be easier for you to come to me than for you to be on your own. I hope that makes sense. Let me say it again. It would be easier for you to get help from the government opposed to you being on your own, working your job, and taking care of yourself. Let's get a couple scriptures. So this is Ecclesiastes 12:3. It says, "In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out the window be darkened." Okay, so who are the keepers of the house? The man traditionally is the keeper of the house. It says they should tremble, and strong men shall bow themselves. Strong men are going to be, that's the head of the household. Men are going to be humbled in that day. When your job fires you because business ain't booming no more, because they need to make cutbacks, that's when, men are going to be humbled. People in general are going to be humbled. And we know women cling on to power. So is your wife going to stay with you in that day when, Slakia, when you lose your 6-figure job, when you lose your burger flipping job? It doesn't even matter. But the government got a plan for her. She knows she can trust in the government. And fuck the women. Just in general, people in general. When everyone is laid off, because it says, "And the grinders shall cease because they are few." Grinding represents jobs. We all know that term is even used in urban America. I'm on my grind or whatnot. The scripture said it first. When the grinders cease because they are few, it's going to be few jobs around. And this is the beginning of that, because we have what? The essential workers. It says, "And those that look out the windows be darkened." All right? This ain't that same America that had the all those, quote, land opportunities. It's not, all those opportunities are going to be dried up at that point. It says, "And the door shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up with the voice of a bird, and the daughters of music shall be brought low." DMX, gone. Was it Black Rob? Gone. The music is trash, it's terrible. So we know that this is the time that it's speaking of. You have celebrity after celebrity after celebrity, um, get judged. And the jobs are turning down, and the market is being hyperinflated. So we know that it's talking about this time that we're living in. We're on borrowed time. This can happen at any moment. Who predicted when I believe it was the S&P dropped 26% in a day? You can't predict that. Dogecoin, it was at 6 cents. It jumped up to 39 cents in one day. You can't predict that. Fuck you. You can't predict that. But you can be prepared spiritually, mentally. This is Habakkuk chapter 2, uh, verse 6. It says, "Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe unto him that increaseth that which is not his? How long unto him that ladeth himself with the clay?" Speaking about the debt, the $29 trillion debt that this place is in. And it's going to dig itself a worse ditch because it's doing stimulus packages every 4 months or so. Now they're talking about a possible monthly stimulus. It's just going to put it on a fast track to hyperinflation. But that's what they want. They want to freely give you money so that subconsciously in your mind, you're going to them. And then when you can't go to your job, you have no choice but to go to them. There's Isaiah 30:1. It says, "Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin." You're not going to bed of the Lord to ask about your problems. You're going to a covering that's not of his fold. All right? Which cover is that? It says that walk to go down to Egypt and have not asked at my mouth. All right, that's talking about the government. You rather go to the government for a handout, for a stimulus, for a voucher, for a food stamp. All that's going to be put on your chip. That's the whole reason why they want you to get the vaccine. Because when they put that operating system within you, it can hold all of that. It can hold all of your government information, your financial information. I got to start a new job. I got to go get a new Social Security card. They're going to make it so that I wouldn't have to do that. I'm not going to take no chip or nothing like that, but using it as an example, please, don't get stupid with me. But that's how they want it. So, you don't have to go get a new Social Security card to scan your chip. You get a new job, just scan your chip. Everything's on your chip. Your health records on your chip. Your driving record. Your background check. It's all on your chip. Just scan your chip. Bam, we got you. We know if you're a piece of shit or not. Do you qualify for this job? Your direct deposits on your chip. Everything's already set up. It's a streamlined system. It says, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. That's exactly what our people are doing. They're not strengthening themselves in the spirit of the Lord of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. They're going to become dependent on the government. It says, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. It's going to be a bugged out time. It's going to be a time of Jacob's trouble, a time that never was before, and people are not going to know how to act because they are not prepared. They're not taking heed to what the men of the Lord are saying. And, we're going to end it with this, of course. This is Revelation 13. I'll start at 15. It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And that's another reason why a lot of people are going to flock to this, because they don't have faith that Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to protect them, because they ain't been doing the work. What Kanye said, you ain't did the education, Sway. You ain't did the education. So it's the scripture say, so you're not going to be protected. And he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free or bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And that no man might buy or sell, saying that he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Like I said, all your money is going straight on the chip. all your records going straight on the chip. Everything is going to be based around that chip. Everything's going to be based around you lining up with what they got planned for you and you being obedient to them and not to Yahweh Shem Yahshai. It says, here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Okay? And that's that mark is a charagma. All right, a cutting in the flesh. So that he can put his stamp, his stigmata on you. So that you are now his. What do they call? Who? So what do the Jewish elite call everyday people? They call them goyim. They call them cattle. What do you do to your cattle? You brand them. You mark them. It's my property. It's my cow. You're going to be their cow. With that being said, I give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahshai by Shem Kadash, no honors to the apostles and under the GMS, salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are there in the truth and sincerity, and the women and the children who follow. Shalom.